Alright, how is it going, ladies, gentlemen, and Minecrafters of the internet? My name's Colin, aka Robonaut92, and this is the Dodgit Arena. As it says right there, Dodgit is the Game of Champions. I don't know if that's the actual name or not, but Game of Kings was already taken. This is a rendition of the Dodgit Arena scene in the Yogscast video for the Yoglympics, link in the description. And it's a two-player game that I'll get into explaining in a second. Let's go to the gold entrance. Two players, one gold, one iron, or silver. It's iron. Some of these with the arenas that I've created in the past, hopefully there'll be more to come, like to have a little bit of a crazy entrance like this one, kind of a little bit of uncertainty. Wanted to keep it a little dark just for the player. Like to get the experience for the player, not really knowing what's about to happen. So that's kind of why the golden towers over here, golden iron towers. And then we have a drop into the actual arena. So let's take the plunge. Alright, so this is the main part of the Dodgit Arena. I have a little setup right here with a piston set up to a couple of glowstone right there, just to make it a little bit easier on the player to get into the arena. I've seen a couple of setups where they have ladders set up along the lines. I'll get into in a second why that's not. I thought was kind of not the greatest idea for the setup. But let's explain Dodgit a little bit. This is a two-player game. One player is on the gold side, one player is on the silver side. And the game is played with these 5 buttons up here. Now the point of the game is to knock the other player off of the platform they're on. There's a little platform right here, and then I get knocked into a pool by using these buttons. Now let's say I was the other player. Excuse me, trying to get over a little bit of a cold. And they press this button on my side. What would happen is, oh no, these pistons come at me. No, no, man. And I'm in the water. So you're trying to get your opponent to do that, or you're trying to get that to happen to your opponent. Well, that had to happen to you first. So that's what would happen if I was over here. Now, my assistant, or Vanna, as we'll see in a second, is Sand. It's advanced, people. What would happen is if I press this button right here and they didn't move, they're in this middle row right here, and boom, Sand is gone. That's what would happen to them if they were standing in the way. So kind of do this for all the buttons. All of them work through the magic of Minecraft and redstone, which I'll show in a second. And you just try and get your player to move around a little bit, or you move around a lot, trying to not get knocked off and hopefully survive long enough to knock your opponent off. Now, the way the setup is for the redstone door right here, glowstone door right here, is I've seen a lot, or the couple of Dodgit arenas I have seen did have ladders like that. But I noticed, especially if there's only 2 people playing and you don't have a referee, I have a little section right in the middle of the field for the referee to watch from. It is a pretty good sight for the ref. But I did notice that if there's a ladder perched right here where the box is, and you get knocked off, you can actually just press forward entirely and not get knocked off, which is a little cheap. So I decided to set up that little simple door right there to keep it even for both players. And there's this same one on the opposite side for the silver side, iron side. So that is kind of how the game is set up. You see the path coming towards you or going towards your opponent. You try to get out of the way, and you dodge it basically. So that's how you play. Let's get into a little bit of the redstone, and it certainly took quite a bit of redstone to do. But the main setup is with this redstone repeater and cart setup right here. As the cart moves down the track, it presses each of the buttons on the track and activates each redstone in order, getting to the end right over here, which is set up a little differently because the piston is turned sideways and it's offset a little bit. At least for this one. So you can see when you press the button right there, lights all of them up, and it goes right back down in just about the same order. The reason for the ton of repeaters right here, at least, is because there's separate levels, because you have to set this up in a level system. And also, what I want to do is that I'll go into more detail on how to build this in a separate video if people like it. Leave a comment or rating. And if a lot of people like to see it built, then I would more than love to actually build it. But what it's doing is it's set up in kind of an array system where it builds up another level as you get higher. So the middle is actually set up underground. I kind of miscalculated when I built this first one, and it's underground, or the first level is underground, but it does have a full cart system with it as well. Let's get out of here. And then it just expands as the levels go up. But since it takes a couple seconds, or a couple ticks at least, to get up this entire tower, I made less repeaters on the bottom, just one, and it's a little different setup because I'm right on bedrock, and I would kind of fall into the nether if I I'd fall into the void, whatever that's called, if I built any lower. And besides, I can't build any lower anyways in the super flat map. So it's set up in an array system where these are all timed a little differently because there's more repeaters. You can make it a little bit more compact if you just spread out the repeaters a little bit, but this is a pretty easy setup, and you can spread it out pretty evenly, make it kind of into a triangle setup. So that's kind of the setup for there. The other thing is there's a little referee's entrance right over here for if you do have another player or do have another person on a multiplayer server, because you probably can't play this on single player very easily unless you have like villagers, testificates, or whatever your fancy is. Then you can have a referee down here where you can actually watch the players fall down. The only really way you can get disqualified is if you move over on that little door with the glowstone. But that's really the only thing. It's a pretty simple game, and it's a pretty exciting game from what I've seen from the Yogscast and from playing this myself, because it is a little interesting, and it's certainly fun to knock testificates into the pool too. And again, this is the silver side, just with some sand set up. Not a huge thing for that. So yeah, that is kind of the Dodgit Arena setup. I did notice on a lot of these that mine is a little bit more compact. I've seen a couple of Dodgit Arena setups, and they just seem to have redstone going all over the place, but this way I have it kind of encapsulated per level. And then the really only crazy part is when it transfers over here. It just trades the buttons that are set up over here to the other side. That's really only the part that gets crazy, but everything else is really encapsulated into its specific section. So that's nice. So that kind of does it for the Dodgit Arena. If you'd like to see any more, or like to see a how-to of how to build a Dodgit Arena, leave a comment in the description. I'd love to actually show how to make this. I also have a Spleef Arena, and I would love to build any other kind of thing. If anyone has any ideas for a build, I'd love to try them out. And hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you around. So until then, keep it classy and keep it blocky. Yeah, let's keep it blocky. That's pretty good. Loving the Minecraft. Oh, that is the wrong button. Man, I look cool, though, from the back. All right.